Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm really excited today because I have two new cards to share with you all, and I'm joined by fellow Marvel Champions content creator Villain Theory. You probably all know him because he makes fantastic content. Uh, do you have any predictions for what these two cards are going to be?
I think something's going to interact with an attack or somewhat. There's going to be something where damage is rewarded. That's my big prediction.
Okay, so I have two cards here. They are aspect cards. So I don't have hero specific cards, but we both got cards from the same pack. So in Villain Theory's video, we had the hero cards, and now these aspect cards are hopefully gonna interact with that in a fun way. Here, I Villain Theory has already seen this preemptively. This is none of the new cards, but one of the cards, hint it's an aggression card, I think goes really well and interacts with all of these different things. So I thought that this would be a good chance for you to give some predictions on what you think it's going to be.
I know she has a Justice Precon, so this is a back of a pack card then. That's kind of exciting, unless there's something crazy going on. I see a lot of minion stuff here, stuff that interacts with minions, stuff that maybe engages minions because 4 and Get Over Here is on the screen.
Okay, yeah, I think you picked up on the theme. So let's go to the
Okay.
card for everyone to see.
What-
Here it is. It's Target Spotter, a one cost support. Persona and Shield traded uses two target counters. Interrupt when a minion would engage a player. Remove one target counter from here. That minion cannot engage until the end of the phase, and you engage that minion.
Yeah, cannot activate until the end of the phase. That's really interesting. I love the art. I love like the theme of the card. I'm just trying to get my head around the wording.
Yeah, I had to think about this for a bit. I think that what's going on here, filling all of that in, I had all of these cards here because I think all of these have really interesting interactions. So I put Vulture with Quick Strike up here because the way I'm reading this with Target Spotter, since that minion cannot activate until the end of the phase, if you're in a multiplayer game and Vulture has Quick Strike, he won't Quick Strike until the end of the phase because he can't activate. So I figured that would give you some time to one choose who gets the minion, right? So if Thor, for instance, wants that minion, he can grab that. But also, uh, if you like, if you can try to take out that minion before the end of the phase, you might get to avoid that like nasty quick strike or something.
Yeah. What is the wording on target spotter? Is it when you would engage? When I mean you would engage? Yeah. Okay. So I think the would puts it in front of quick strike. So I think you're absolutely right in terms of like Vulture's attack and that kind of thing. So it's kind of an anti quick strike card.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting how that works.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any predictions for maybe another card or two that could maybe work well with Target Spotter?
Well, what actually immediately sprang to mind as a shield support that Maria Hill can move counters from this and interact with it that way. So that was the first one that
Oh
sprang to
wait, I
mind.
have to introduce the game. So for those for those of you that aren't aware, me and Bill and Thea are playing this little game to where we're trying to essentially just predict what the other person's going to talk about. And we both had some cards prepared thinking like, oh yeah, there's no way they're going to be able to avoid talking about this. So I have a card ready to see if Villain Theory is going to mention it right now.
I feel like I might let this slide down. My my brain went to Maria Hill, and I feel like you've actually chosen an aspect card that interacts with this. I think okay. I'm gonna say dive bomb is gonna be maybe one of the cards you think I'm gonna mention with this. Because if you can engage minions more yourself, you can hit them all at once with dive bomb. Maybe?
Oh,
Oh no.
oh, that's not what I
Oh no.
guessed. So
Oh
I
no.
might give myself slight points here, but I don't know. I didn't think you were gonna go dive bomb here because that hits like the whole board. But
Oh, you're right. I'm actually getting my cards wrong. So it's more like bombs away kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, I we both win or we both lose together. To quote you from a little bit ago.
I misremembered dive bomb. That's funny. Okay.
So my prediction was I thought you were going to talk about Maria Hill and maybe the Bellerophon going off of Maria Hill so that one person
I
could gather those
absolutely should
minions.
have. I thought of Maria Hill, but I think my brain is too focused on Nick Fury, who kind of likes dive bomb, even though it doesn't work the way I thought it did. So I was absolutely, I was in the right area of hitting multiple targets. So
Yeah,
I
I
give you,
think
I
I
give you half
only
a
get
point.
like half points here. Yeah, dang. Well, I did my best.
I got the card kind of wrong. So I think we're halfway there. I did mention Maria Hill. This is one of a card that particularly favors her. Um, okay, so this obviously does work well for Maria Hill, and this is going to set up the Bellerophon to potentially hit an extra target, which is very very fun.
Okay, so coming back to
Okay.
this, I threw up some cards that I thought had some stuff we could talk about, and I have looking for trouble here and get over here. It's kind of funny. Looking for trouble here and get over here because not because I'm thinking about them comboing super well together, but more because when I'm thinking about playing Thor and like my minions are when I get the minion is based off an event, that's I don't always necessarily want the minion when I grab that event card. So I really liked the idea of like the consistency that this is adding to to get the minion when you actually want the minion and steal the minions from the other players. Because like I don't know if this happens to you or any of the people watching this, but when I'm playing Thor or there's a Thor player at the table, it feels like the minions are always dealt to the other people. And it's just the saddest thing ever. But Target Spotter
Yeah.
gives Thor, I guess the theme of 2025 hero packs, just making Thor better.
That is really going to add a lot of consistency to four because I had the same thing. It's like, oh, another treachery. While my, Justice players got three minions, two in one turn somehow, and I'm like, okay, great. I wish I could have had one of those. That's really fun. And talking about, making sure you get minions. I don't know if you've got a slide, if you've got, something prepared for this. But I was thinking, what if like your leadership player uses squared off or something? You can steal that minion in against you and kind of combo extra kind of
Yeah,
summoning and things
that's
in
a
that
great
way.
point. I don't have any cards on that, but that you're cooking there with that one.
I like that. I like that. "Come get me, Bob." Would this work for Face the Past when you got Vulture here? Obviously, it would work for minions, wouldn't it? So, like Nemesis. So I like this. I see multiplayer combos. I see four combos, and I like both of those combos a lot. I mean, for four specifically, I'm just thinking about it. This is going to trigger potentially, in the villain phase, get you the card draw then. But if someone else summons in a multiplayer game in the player phase, you can use it as well. I like that. I like there's, we're getting, it feels like more and more ways to hit the whole table. The Bellerophon is a card I definitely should have mentioned. So everything here seems really, really good. Obviously, if you're using Bellerophon, it won't work with Hall of Heroes and
So
so on. But there's
I have more faith in my prediction for the next one.
okay.
Because the next one was the inspiration where I'm like, oh, there's absolutely no way that Villain Theory can get through talking about this card without mentioning this other card. It's
I'm ex-
absolutely impossible.
I'm excited to let you down but by remembering the cards wrong.
So now I
Okay.
think this is a great time to talk about the next one, Infiltration, which is a one cost event. It's a thwart. It says hero action thwart. Choose a number from 1 to 5. Discard that many cards from the top of the encounter deck before the cost arrow, and then remove one threat from a scheme for each card discarded this way. Put one minion discarded this way into play. Engage with you.
Yes, I'm so happy. I'm so jealous you got this card. We got Justice minion summoning potentially here. That is so exciting.
Yeah.
Uh, White Cost Fording event is good too, but I get a minion here. This is so cool. I'm all good. The vibe will maintain.
Okay, so I
I'm so
threw up
excited.
a few cards here that I thought were interesting that we could talk about that came with Nick Fury because I thought Nick coming with that Justice Precon and then some of the cards that came with him. I was noticing that theme of Justice interacting more with minions. Maybe talk about that a little bit, and maybe there's a few other cards that you might think go well with this that I'm have my fingers crossed as far as I can.
Well, there's one that sprang to mind like immediately for infiltration, so I might
Uh
just
huh.
say it before I forget it, and that is the Raft, because another card in her hero kit which interacts with minions, hero precon. So that's
Gonna go forward. Yeah, I threw up all of Shuri's cards here. This is a better one to talk about
yeah,
because these are all in the same pack as well.
yeah, that's so good. Yeah, I think going undercover, we've got, I think, in Nick Fury's precon, I think we got intelligence, which is also going to be kind of useful. Maybe no, it's not actually. That is not useful with this. That's a different timing. I'm thinking about encounter card stuff. I'm really excited for this. I think Nick Fury getting minions in, he can get threat off them. When he's in stealth form, that's exciting.
Yeah,
Um, Four is obviously who we just talked about. Gonna love this. But if I'm reading this correctly, you discard. up to 5 cards. And it's kind of a gamble. The more cards you're choosing, the more likely a minion is. And if you do get a minion, you have to fight it. Like they're catching you infiltrating. That's the theme, right?
Yeah, but also
It's really cool.
notably on this card, uh, let's say you choose 5, but you get like 2 minions. It just says put 1 minion discard this way into play engage with you. Not that you have to put all of them that you get. So I thought that was pretty cool. That like your worst case scenario is still just like 1 minion.
Yeah, there's definitely some sets that have like a boss minion in them, and then like a little minion on the side. And I know which one I'm going for if both of those get discarded. So
I don't know.
that's
Other
pretty
than
fun.
Shuri's pack, though, is there any card that you think of that might come to mind related to infiltration that may or may not be in the same aspect, please?
I'm gonna let you down. I told you to expect me to let you down. There's hundreds of cards in this game now. Um, in the same aspect related to infiltration. Um, I mean, is it an existing card? Because Informer, but I see that on the screen. I think goes really is kind of interesting if you do get minions in as Justice. I actually think that turn the tide with this because you remove some threat. I presume you resolve the whole thing, and then you can smack them. Maybe waylay as well, that kind of thing. Hit the minion. I'm probably missing something really obvious here.
No,
Um,
it's maybe I was off base because like maybe we're just doing a tag team combo of you messing up the first one and then me messing up the second one. It might be my fault. I think it's fair to say that I didn't get any points, but I
oh
think we
no.
can I think we can go forward and you can see. I thought for sure you were going to talk about global
Oh,
logistics because like
I didn't.
if there's
I
one
love
thing
global
I know
logistics.
about villain theory, I thought villain theory is like Captain Global Logistics. And
Yeah, I was
and
thinking
then
about the new cards a lot.
so I unfortunately I have lost this game. I'm at
Well, I kind of
half.
lost it too because this is a great card to mention.
Okay, so I got half points. I got one half of 1 point.
I'm gonna give you a point out of nowhere, making up the rules. I use global logistics to change the order of the rules, and we'll give you one. Um, this is really interesting with global logistics because if you're using it purely to discard all the cards, right? The benefit of global logistics is just setting up global, just setting up infiltration, not to give you a minion. Is what I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was just a miss there. I thought it was fun. It doesn't necessarily have the best synergy, but I just swung and
I'm
I
so
swung
sorry,
twice and I missed.
but you
I
swung and
missed
you swung. They
half.
were strong swings.
They weren't mean swings though.
They were not mean swings. They were amicable swings.
Yeah, I had the
Oh.
had the amicable swings on my guesses for your cards. Well, anyways, I I think that I think that it's really cool all these like minion summoning things that we're getting for justice because like I remember seeing this combo in the article with like invisibility gear, like when an enemy would attack you, discard it, schemes instead, and then sting operation, non-elite minion schemes, discard that minion, then the raft after a minion leaves play, you tuck it, and I just thought that whole thing was cool. And then with Nick Fury, we're also getting like informant to like add into that little like thing that he's got going on because like
Mhm.
Nick uses informant super well because all those minions scheme, but the with invisibility gear, like any hero can kind of get that done. So like if there's a minion with 3 scheme and you just throw them into the whole like conveyor belt of justice combos against that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I'm just it's got a lot of cool combos. I just really like this kind of card design. I think this is something we don't see a ton in Marvel Champions. I mean, I guess we do, but the normal minion summoning cards are summon the minion, get the reward for having done that. Whereas this one is take a risk, roll the dice, and if you are lucky, you could remove, if I'm reading this correctly, 5 threat, no downside. But if you get unlucky, you get a minion to deal with for the extra threat removal you're kind of getting. So
Hmm.
this card is crazy. Sometimes this is a one-cost event which force removes 5 threat. That is so incredibly good.
Yeah,
But
that's why I was
then there are
thinking global
times
logistics could be a cool card if you because like you pay one extra to like guarantee that you don't get screwed.
well, Global Logistics looks at 4, and this is for 5 cards. So there is that if you go all out, there's that tiny chance at the end you would still find a minion. So
Yeah.
I guess Blindfold is another card I could have mentioned because she looks at 5 cards and you discard one, but I think you have to discard one with her if I'm remembering correctly, which means you're still not sure about that last one, whatever's lined up.
Yeah, I'm super
Mm.
excited for Shuri's pack. These Justice
Yeah.
precons that are coming out these days, they're pretty cohesive and they're all really focused on minions in like these kind of unique ways.
Yeah, this is very unique, and it's Sting Operation is very unique. Yeah, Invisibility Gear is not a card I ever predicted. Going undercover. The whole there's really I think in Shuri's precon there seems to be a kind of a spy theme that ties into obviously Nick Fury's precon and he's a spy. Seems to really support that whole thing. So even mechanics aside, which is what I'm typically known for, I think the theme here is so good.
Yeah, the shield theme of these like super spies turning the info against the enemies is pretty cool.
Yeah, I just thought about this with Infiltration as well. It works well for a thief like Gambit, whose alter ego power can look at the top. Maybe the ally as well. There's some cool things you can do to at least look at one or two of the cards on the top to just slightly increase your odds of not getting a minion.
Okay, and I also think it's really cool if you have the aggression player playing target spotter and the justice player playing infiltration, and these go together, and that they just like click together so well. It feels like because you put the one
Yeah,
minion discarded into play engage with you, but then that interrupt off target spotter does work for that because it's when a minion would engage a player. You just switch it. I think that's so cool.
yeah, I really like that. I mean, that's presumably why Fantasy Flight Games gave you both of these cards together because I feel like we don't normally, at least I don't normally get to see people revealing back of the pack cards, which I assume this is because she doesn't have a multi-aspect deck building thing. Yeah, I really like the synergy here. For rescuing someone when their infiltration goes wrong, that's what I'm imagining right now. Sounds like a scene out of a movie or a comic or something. Sounds perfect. Just flies in, takes the guy out. One of my other thoughts with Target Spotter, we talked a little bit about Quick Strike and how if this card prevents that minion from activating until the end of the phase, also works on teamwork. And there's a few nasty teamworks in the game. And sometimes you defeat someone. I'm thinking of the leader of the Reavers, that mod set. He brings in another guy that will have teamwork, which can potentially in multiplayer trigger another attack against you. So I think this has some, maybe that's a little bit niche, but still very, very interesting uses. And the more expansions that come out, the more niche things come up and more mod sets you can put in. And I like the theme of these both so much. I don't know if I've got a lot more to say about these. I'm just excited for Marine Hill Aggression suddenly looks a lot more appealing to me.
Yeah, I'm, and hopefully if we get that last like aggression hero that presumably
Yeah.
exists, I don't know if it does, but I feel like an aggression shield support hero could really like round out the shield package in a way that's really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I like this card a lot. I like Infiltration, I'm going to say, is my favorite of these cards by quite a significant bit. I was just hoping for Justice Minion Summoning. I know other people have been talking about it. We got it for Justice and Leadership in the previous wave, which I think was kind of spearheaded by a different lead designer. So to get it here just feels like everything is complete and I'm happy.
And then there's I guess one more like scenario that's popping into my head is just those huge Thunderbolt minions that we just got in the recent box. I think that would just feel so good, like when someone's not ready to handle one of those, and you just like switch it. Be like, yeah, yeah, fine, I'll take Radioactive Man, but what do I get in return? I think that'd be
That is
such a
really
funny
funny.
little like thing going on of because I don't those minions are big enough to where I don't think the aggression player necessarily wants those ones either. So I think that's just I
No.
think that's inevitable to happen at some point where Target Spotter comes out and then that you're using the Thunderbolts mod and then it's just like, well, everyone looks at the aggression player and it's just like, why are you looking at me?
Yeah,
I don't want it.
if I was a if I was a Grisham player, I might just not use Target Spotter, cover my eyes, take the binoculars down. I'm not going to engage that minion. Yeah, good luck with that, Justice player. Something else that sprang to my mind quickly is that we do have Falcon just revealed in that article, and he can look at the top card of the encounter deck. So if there's a minion on top of the encounter deck, and Falcon is there to reveal that to the group in the player phase, you absolutely do not infiltrate at that moment. You wait. You wait with your infiltration until the coast is clear.
I guess
So his scouting, yeah.
on the theme of Falcon, I know you just did that massive deep dive on Falcon. Do you think Infiltration's gonna have any like specific special combos that comes
I
to
mean,
mind?
just looking Yeah, just looking at the top of the deck, making this a bit safer. This is potentially one cost for 5 threat removal, which is crazy good. But getting a minion makes it, it's the balancing factor. You're gonna win big or lose a little bit. It's kind of how I see this card.
Hmm.
Um, Falcon. Oh yeah. Oh, actually, Falcon. I was thinking about his aerial recon, but that is when you get dealt an encounter card. This the minion is just put into play, engage with you. There might be something is not springing to mind, but I could definitely see Falcon using this. Or at least I like the team up combo because him looking at the top card of the encounter deck is him scouting, and infiltration can really benefit from someone scouting, thematically and mechanically. So that is an absolute win.
Yes, Shuri's looking really interesting with this heavily minion focused Justice Precon, and then
Yeah.
all of these upgrades that are just gonna let her kind of deal with those minions. I think this Precon deck is looking pretty fun.
Oh yeah, that's true. If you've not seen my video yet, you can go back and check it out. But I revealed a couple of things for sure that involve, let's say, attacking, and you're going to want to attack those minions. So there's a good time with the precon here, I feel like, and obviously just individually, these cards are both fun.
That's I think all we have here today. We'll keep it kind of short and sweet and compact so we don't take up too much of your Marvel Champions time. I encourage you to check out Villain Theory's video if you haven't, and I hope that everyone enjoys these new cards.
I love these cards. Thank you for having me on, and I hope everyone watching, yeah, really enjoys them.
I guess stay zesty, everyone, and I hope that you have less amicable swings than me.
I will try my best.
And again, watch Villain Theory's video for the full context. See ya.
See you guys.